I used to be a tour guide, working a lot with German tourists, taking them through India, enjoying the beauty of India, its culture, its landscape, but always marred by, the waste that one saw and the indifference around waste. And I remember the occasion when, the German tourist especially kept on asking me about, how we in India were looking at waste and wanting to change the situation on the ground. And this was for me then a trigger, and also the second trigger was the fact that in 2000 we had the municipal solid waste management rules, where for the first time India had a set of rules that actually addressed waste, looked at waste differently. So that was for me the starting point, and then that journey of starting Saahas as an NGO in 2001, and then moving it, or rather looking at a second entity for the organization as Saahas Zero Waste, a private limited and a social enterprise. Conversion of waste to resources is our solution. Our first vertical is called the Zero Waste Program, and for that we work with all bulk generators. We work in cities especially with the large corporate offices, with tech parks, with residences, with educational institutions. Bulk waste generators contribute 40% to a city's waste. So that's a huge number, and that's our customer base. So what do we offer to bulk waste generators? In a corporate tech park, first of all, we definitely ensure that segregation at source becomes part of the culture. And now once we receive the segregated waste, we look at the next level of how this waste is going to be processed. So many of our bulk waste generators have, for instance, their own waste management center embedded in the office campus or the tech park campus. And then all the wet waste goes into a composting system. The dry waste goes into a preliminary sorting exercise, and then all the waste, the dry waste, then comes to our material recovery facility for further sorting into different categories. And here in the material recovery facility, we would sort it into about 30 different categories, and each of these categories now gets aggregated, and we have MOUs and contracts with all our different recyclers. So currently we are on an average of a little over 100 tons of waste per day. For our zero waste program, we are pretty much working in the south of India with customers on the ground through a service fee. We are definitely looking to move pan-India with our zero waste program. The second vertical that we have is called EPR, or Extended Producer Responsibility, where today under regulation, brands that produce electronic items as well as plastic packaging waste are expected to take back their waste from consumers and channel it into proper recycling. So we then work with various brands to enable that reverse logistics system. We work with a digital platform where the waste is tracked right from the point of source of waste to the end destination. So currently for the EPR program, we are working in 20 different states across India. And then the final vertical is closing the loop, or circle up as we call our third vertical, because this is our sale of products. Sale of products which we get from our own recyclers, sale of products which are upcycled from textiles, sale of compost. All of that is then sold back to our customers. All our customers, they have been able to come to a point where they are accountable for 96% of the waste that they generate. In that process also, you have people working with waste, our own employees, and we have 300 plus employees, of which 65% are women, 200 plus people are from the base of the pyramid. Their economic well-being taken care of through this a system that we have established. And then of course the large informal sector. Here we are transitioning 4 million plus people that have been engaged in waste in the most horrific ways possible, to formal systems, to entrepreneurship, to people taking responsibility for their waste. People have to now pay for waste management services and not expect to receive monies for things like plastic waste or even paper waste, because the intensity of operations is such that if you want the people working with waste, the livelihood of the informal sector as well as our own field staff, then really there is a need for people to pay appropriately for waste management services. These are not fees which are unaffordable, but these are fees which make a big difference to the way in which we bring accountability to waste management.
HSBC presents CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective.